Hi, you guys. This is Mrs. Palmer. I am going to help you with 5 questions from your ALEKS assignment, Simple Interest number 2, and I think it should provide enough examples for you to be able to do your assignment on your own. Remember that if you are having any questions at all, even though we are not in school together, I still am available through email, and I can even make you your own recordings of your problems if you need extra help. So with that said, let's go ahead and start. Today's assignment is also on simple interest, and just like the assignment that you did on Tuesday, we are going to be using the formula for simple interest, which is I equals P times R times T. Okay, remember I is the interest, P is the principal, which means the amount invested or the loan amount. R is the interest rate, and the T is time in years. Okay, so this question said, Lisa takes out a loan for her college tuition from a bank that charges simple interest at an annual rate of 6.4%. So that's our R. Our R is 6.4%. And remember that when we use the simple interest formula, we need to change this percent into a decimal. So we need to divide by 100, and 0.64 or 6.4 divided by 100 is 0.064. Okay, so for our R, we're going to use 0.064. Now, it says her loan amount is for $5,300. So that means the P is $5,300. That's the loan amount. And this is for 10 months. And it says, assume each month is 1/12 of a year. Okay, so remember, in our simple interest formula, the T is time in years. So if the time is for 10 months, that means our T is going to be 10 months out of the 12 months. Okay, so now we're ready to plug into our formula to figure out the interest that will be owed after 10 months. So I, or the interest, is going to be equal to P, which is 5,300, times by R, which is 0.064, times by the T, which is 10/12. Okay, and all we have to do is multiply these 3 together, and that will give us the answer to the interest that will be owed after 10 months. Okay, and so when we plug this into the calculator, 5,300 times 0.064 times 10/12, we get 282.66 repeating. And remember that because we're talking about money, we round money to the hundredths. So if this is 0.66 repeating, the number after the hundredths is 5 or bigger. So this would round to $282.67. Okay. Now the next part of this question says, assuming Lisa doesn't make any payments, find the amount owed after 10 months. Okay, so remember, this is the interest. This is the amount that she has to pay for borrowing the $5,300. So to figure out the amount owed after 10 months, we would have to take the $5,300 and add it to the $282.67, and that would give us $5,582.67. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another one. This question says, a restaurant borrows $19,700 from a local bank for 8 months. The local bank charges simple interest at an annual rate of 2.45% for this loan. Assume each month is 1/12 of a year. Answer each part below. Okay, so remember, for this assignment, we are going to be using the simple interest formula of interest is equal to principal times rate times time. The principal is the amount borrowed or invested. Okay, so when we go back to this situation, the restaurant borrows $19,700. So that is our principal. Okay, that's our P. From a local bank for 8 months, okay, and we need to assume each month is 1/12 of a year. And so for our time, we're going to say 8 months out of the 12 months. Okay, this is the time in years. It's 8 out of 12. And then the R is 2.45%. But to remove the percent, we want to divide this by 100. So we get 0.0245 for the R. Okay, now all we have to do is plug what we know into the formula to solve for what we don't know. So we don't know the interest that's going to be owed after 8 months. We do know the principal is $19,700. We also know the rate is 0.0245, and we know the time in years is 8/12. And if I simplify this fraction, 4 goes into 8 twice, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. And so you can either use 8/12 or you could also use 2/3. Either of those would work because they're actually the same value. So now to find the interest that will be owed after 8 months, all we have to do is multiply these 3 numbers together. Okay, and that gives us $321.77. Okay, assuming the restaurant doesn't make any payments, find the amount owed after 8 months. So this is the interest that's owed after 8 months. The loan amount was $19,700, and so to answer the question in part B, all we have to do is add those two together. And so the amount owed would be $20,021.77. Okay, so for questions 3 and 4, this one says Frank took out a loan for $4,000 and was charged simple interest at an annual rate of 7.5%. The total interest he paid on the loan was $180. How long was the loan for in days? Okay, so remember we're going to use the simple interest formula. I equals principal times rate times time. Remember this is time in years, and there are 365 days in 1 year. Okay, so Frank took out a loan for $4,000. That means the principal is $4,000. The interest rate is 7.5%. And then remember, in order to use this in the formula, we need to get rid of the percent sign by dividing by 100. So this becomes 0.075. We do not know the time. That's what we're going to be figuring out. And we know that the interest that he paid on the loan was $180. Okay, so now we just take our formula, we plug in the things that we know, and we solve for what we don't know. So we know that I is 180. We know the principal is 4,000. We know the rate is 0.075, and then we do not know the t. Okay, and then to solve this equation, we're going to first multiply the 4,000 times 0.075. Okay, and so that's going to be 300. So now we have 300 times t equals 180. And if we're solving for the t, we have to get rid of the multiplication of 300. So we're going to divide by 300 on both sides. And remember, when we divide 180 by 300, we have to put the 180 in the calculator first. And that is going to give us 0.6. Now, this is our time in years. And this is 0.6. 0.6 of a year. And so if we want to figure out how many days, how long was the loan in days, and there are 365 days in a year, we have to find out what 0.6 of 365 is. And remember in math, the word of means multiplication. So to find 0.6 of 365, we're going to take 0.6, we're going to times by 365, and that gives us 219 days. Okay, let's go ahead and look at question 4. Okay, so question 4 says, Deborah took out a loan for 5 months and was charged simple interest at an annual rate of 4.8%. The total interest she paid on the loan was $170. How much did she borrow? Okay, so for this, when we're trying to figure out how much did she borrow, we're trying to figure out the principal. That's what we don't know. We don't know the loan amount. So if we take our formula, interest equals principal times rate times time. In this case, we do not know the principal. We don't know how much she borrowed. We do know that she took out a loan for 5 months. And remember, 5 months, and when we talk about time, it's time in years. So 5 months would be 5 out of 12 months. Okay? The rate is 4.8%. And in order to plug that into our formula, we need to get rid of the percent sign. So we're going to change this to 0.048. And then we know that our I, in this case, is 170. Okay, so let's plug in all the things that we know. We know the I is 170. We don't know the principal, so we'll keep that a P. We know the rate is 0.048, and we know the time is 5/12 of a year. Okay, so if we're solving for the P, we want to multiply the 5/12 by the 0.048, and that's going to give us 0.02. P is equal to 170. And then to figure out what P is, we have to get rid of the multiplication of 0.02. So we're going to divide by 0.02 on both sides. And that gives us $8,500. Okay, let's go ahead and look at one more example, and then I think you guys will be ready to do this assignment on your own. Okay, Aldo obtains a loan for home renovations from a bank that charges a simple interest rate of 9.65%. His loan is for $16,500 for 76 days. Assume each day is 131 over 365 of a year. So 365th of a year. Find the interest that will be owed after 76 days. So again, we're going to use our simple interest formula. Interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Let's identify all of the things that we know. We know that the principal, or the loan amount, is $16,500. We know that the rate is 9.65%, which we're going to change to 0.0965. We know the time, so the time in years, we know the time is 76 days out of 365. This would be the time in years. Okay, so now we are ready to figure out the interest. So 16,500 times by 0.0965 times by 76 over 365. And if you're using your phone as a calculator to do this, I'm actually using my phone as a calculator to do this. So the way that you would want to do this is you would want to put in the 76 divided by 365 first. You would want to change that fraction to a decimal. And then times by 0.0965. And then times by 16,500. And you can actually do this, you can multiply in any order. I just know that many of you will probably be using your phones, so I wanted to talk you through that. Now you get $331, and it looks like this, 5369. So because we're talking about money, money rounds to the hundredths, So this would be $331.54. Okay, next question. Assuming Aldo doesn't make any payments, find the amount owed after 76 days. So that's where we have to take the loan amount, the starting loan amount. We have to add the $331.54, and that will give us the amount owed after 76 days. So that will be $16,831.54. Okay, so that gives you some good examples to follow for your assignment. There are 10 questions total. Please email me if you have any other questions. And you only have 2 assignments to do this week, the simple interest number 1 and the simple interest number 2. Remember that at all times you can be working on your ALEKS goal. And I hope you guys have a really awesome day.